Welcome once again to the 30-Day Transformation Challenge, Week 2, Day number 5. So I hope that your exercise yesterday went well. And by that I mean you've experienced a little bit of that freedom and that grace that comes from confessing. I have been praying that is something that you experience. But we're going to move on today. We're not leaving humility behind, but we're going to focus on something a little bit different, and that is this aspect of scheduling out a lengthy time period for the purpose of prayer. But before we do that, I want you to take a moment to assess your prayer life over the last 10 to 12 days. We've been doing this now, if you're following it day by day, going on 12 days. I guess today would be the 12th day officially. And you've given this focus and this effort to developing a kind of prayer life that you want to have, where there's dependency and there's intimacy and you're connecting with Jesus. And hopefully you're beginning to experience that already. But I want you to think about your prayer life over the last 10 to 12 days and how God has transformed you. What has God done to your prayer life? Okay, and record all of this, put this down in your journal. So think about it. He's given you this tool, okay, to focus on prayer. He has perhaps brought a little bit of joy to your life because you feel like now you're doing what he wants you to do. You're incorporating some of these spiritual exercises in your life, not because you're so great at it, but because you need it. You know that God wants you. He's revealed this to you, that God wants to hear your voice. He's given you things to pray about and pray for. And you've been blessed, no doubt, in many ways. So write those down. It is important that you write those things down. And in fact, I would make it in a list form. You just begin the number 1 down a sheet of paper in your journal or online, however you're doing it digitally, and write out all the ways God has blessed your life over the last 10 or 12 days in regards to your prayer life, okay, and how that has transformed. Important that you do this. So take the necessary time to do this exercise today. The second exercise really gets me excited because it is about scheduling a time, as you can see there on your guide, an extended time for the purpose of prayer. So this is not going to be most likely a prayer time that you incorporate before you go to work one morning, because it's going to be a little bit more. It might be. It could be, I suppose, if you're getting up quite a bit earlier. If you have to be like most of us at work at 8 and you're going to do a 2-hour prayer period, then probably you're going to be getting up pretty early that morning. But Jesus sets the example in this. You remember when he was tempted in Matthew chapter 4? He spent a lot of time in prayer and in fasting. Later in his ministry, on several occasions, he spent the entire night in prayer. I know right now, some of us are thinking, entire night? I can imagine what somebody would pray for 2 hours, much less, 7 or 8 hours. But Jesus did just that. And so here's what you're going to do in the second exercise for today, and that is go into your calendar and schedule a time of extended prayer. Call it a prayer retreat, where you're going to schedule at least 2 hours where you're going to focus on prayer or praying. Okay? Now, don't let the exercise itself and what you're going to do on that particular day or those particular couple of hours, don't let that overwhelm you. Just get it scheduled in your calendar. For me, as I was doing this challenge, I did it right at the end of my challenge. And I'll share with you some good news. It was a simple thing to do because God he had blessed me and he had revived my own prayer life. And so praying for 2 hours was not a difficult thing to do. And I'll give you a tool that you can follow along a little bit later. But right now, it's all about just getting it in get it in your calendar. And it might be 2 hours, it might be 3 hours, but just spend the next couple of moments praying about it and then scheduling it. Get it in your calendar. For me, I did this on a Sunday morning, and I did get up early. I think it took place from about 6 to 8, 8:30, something like that. And it was indeed a blessing to my life, a great exercise in praying. And again, the reason why we do this is multiple, but I want you to look at activity number 3 in your guide, and just write your thoughts about this in your journal. How do you feel about spending 2 hours or more with God? Just one-on-one. No phones, no computers, just spending time in prayer. Does it make you feel somewhat anxious? What am I going to do? What am I going to say? Et cetera, et cetera. Am I just going to sit there and hear crickets? What does it make you feel prideful? Oh man, it'd be so cool. I'd be able to tell everybody I spent 2 hours in prayer. Whatever is going through your mind, I want you to write that down in your journal. Don't feel bad about any of it. Just write it down. But remember that this 2 hour or more period, this retreat, is not because we have life all together. It's because we need it. And we're developing the discipline of prayer so that God can use us more effectively in ways that He's never used us before because we've not been there for Him. So write your thoughts in your journal and focus during that time, and as you're thinking about that and writing those thoughts down about the transformation process, about becoming more Christ-like, okay? So this is exciting. This is where we're going for. We're going to go and pray together for an extended amount of time. That is, you and God are going to be speaking to each other for that long. It's going to be an incredible blessing to your life. So start today by putting it into your calendar and praying about it. And put that on your prayer list to pray every day until the event itself. Okay? Great. Remember, you can do this. God is in your corner. And so am I. I'll see you in the next video.